We should be live in about 5 seconds. You all have the floor.
The meeting to order at 5:30. We have an approval or a motion to approve the minutes from October.
I move we approve the October minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so we have the checklist and financial statements from September to first, since we didn't have the checklist last month. So motion to approve those or questions?
Dina, what were all the reverse items on here? There's several. It says reverse of GJE is all we can see.
TJE is a general journal entry in accounting.
Okay.
So those were at the end of when we closed out our checking account, moved to the new system. There were 4 or 5 outstanding checks that hadn't been taken off the books for years, and so those we canceled all of those checks. And there was several checks to staff members. There was one to me and one to Betsy that we went ahead and issued a new check to. As we couldn't find any invoices or any proof that there was no check that went through our bank account. So we just reissued those checks to them.
I'll make a motion that we approve the checklist and financial statement for September 2020.
I'll second it.
Really keep at it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We need a motion to accept the October financial statements and checklist if there's not any.
Who seconded that last motion?
I did. Keith.
Is everybody ready for that one? Because I can make the motion for us to approve the checklist for October.
I'll second that one also.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Pam on mute. I don't think I can hear you, Pam.
Yes.
I see her as muted. Can't tell if she's eyeing or naying.
Okay, did that help?
Yeah.
I did.
Okay, well, there I am.
So far, have you eyed everything?
Yes, I have. I've agreed with everything so far.
Okay.
I'm an agreeable sort of person tonight.
All right, audit. On to the audit.
So our auditors came October 27th, and it went really smoothly. I was a little bit nervous about it because of the transition to a new accountant this year, but it was awesome. I had no complaints. So we're just waiting for their final report. There are no people from the community here. So let me go on to the monthly report. So we got a message that there is a new handbook for the Open Meetings and Open Records Acts, and the newsletter highlights that that in either December or January, I will send out a copy of that, a printed copy, so you guys can read it. I know it's really hard to read a 35-page document on a computer screen. So I'll send that out along with the receipt form. And you'll just have to after you read it, send the receipt form back to me. And I think we just keep that on file at our office. So I would recommend reading it though, just to stay up with the current laws, and it helps to know what your limitations are and what we can and can't do in our meetings. So happy reading. So we got some more announcements about E-rate funding as well for category 2, and that involves equipment. And for the next 5 years, they set the new rates for libraries to how much they could request. And it looks like the new dollar amount is $450 per square foot, or $25,000 budget for small branches over a 5-year period. So I'm not really sure where we sit with that. So I'll have to get with Lauren Abner to see what our budget will be over the next 5-year period. KDLA just wrapped up their virtual conference, and all their video recordings are available on their YouTube channel. So if there's anything that you want to see for as far as trustee meetings or conferences, they're on that channel. I can forward those to you on your email too, if you'd like to do some continuing education. They also have a new director's toolkit on their website, and it looks like there's a lot of great resources for me. So probably for Board of Trustees as well, but that's take note of that link. That might be something that we can use in the future. Wish I had it when I was a new director, because it would have been really, really helpful. But so our current status of the library and our staff is completely different from what I sent you in our notes. So yesterday we were working, 50% staff, Monday through Friday in the building from 10 to 6, still providing all services. With the Governor Beshear's executive order making changes to schools and many organizations, guidelines have changed a little bit for professional services. I got an email from Terry Manuel today, Commissioner of KDLA, that clarified what libraries should do and can and can't do. So I'm just going to read that, but it says, he said, all professional services and other office-based businesses must mandate that all employees who are able to work from home do so and close their businesses for the public when possible. Any office that remains open must ensure that no more than 33% of employees are physically present in the office any given day. Libraries should drop back to 33% staffing level beginning Friday, November 20th, 2020 at 5 p.m. local time. Libraries should also, if possible, offer curbside services. This will expire December 13th at 11:59 p.m. local time. And then there's, when I send out the minutes, I'll send you the link to the executive order as well, so you can refer to that. So we had a staff meeting today to talk over what to do with our staff and everything. Kind of made a decision on my own about, okay, let's just go back to curbside deliveries. I've been on quarantine this last week and will be through the end of Friday. So it's like, okay, I'm tired. So maybe I should have talked to my staff first. But there's some pretty strong kickback against that. They're really, really concerned about closing the doors and shutting off services to our community. There's some concerns about working full time at home, which I totally get that. I don't think it's doable. And there's also some concerns about the level of services provided to our patrons. I just feel like with the schools being shut down, that the most vulnerable and poor are going to be the ones that suffer the most, and the library is the one that would be able to help them the best as far as internet and technology. So I wanted to get your feedback on this. This is what we have got to follow, that mandate, that 33% staff in the building. That is a mandate. At the same time, I've got to juggle can we provide the level of services that we are doing now and still keep our doors open? So I'd like some feedback on that from you guys and see where you are.
I'm with your staff. I think if do they know, they understand the mandate that they will only be able to staff 33% of their library staff, and they were still willing to keep the doors open and provide services to the lower income families as they lose school.
Yeah, so they'll want to offer computer services and limited meeting room space for those who, can't access internet at all. My biggest concern is staffing, for sure. I talked to most of my frontline staff members, the front desk staff members today. They were all comfortable with continuing to serve patrons. I think one thing that we can do is we could control the flow of the traffic in the building. We haven't been overrun with traffic, I will say that. We could lock the front door. We could put a doorbell on it with a speaker system that Julianne's looking up. I think we can do that for under $100. We can communicate with people as they come to the door and allow them in like one or two at a time or as needed. Our traffic has been really slow. I think we could accommodate that. And then people could still browse the shelves, get their movies, get their books, and check out and go. Computer services would be limited to about an hour. Any more than that, I think we're crossing some lines there.
Did the mandate have a limited at capacity for libraries, or did Carrie send you anything like you're only supposed to have a certain amount of people per square foot in your library kind of thing?
I'm still trying to get clarity on that. I know that for theaters and other services, it's like a 25-person limit. There's never any time, we have never had 25 people in the building at a time since we've cut back. So
I guess that what would be the point of the doorbell and locking the doors then if we never reach capacity?
Well, we could limit the amount of people who are in the building at the same time. Okay, so somebody wants to do computers and we have 5 people at the same time. We can just stop them at the door. I'm sorry, we have all of our computers are full. Instead of having them come in, or coming in for movies. We've already got 3 people looking at movies. It's really full. We could ask them to wait in the car, and then we could, come and get them when they're ready, when there's space. So, I don't know. I'm just trying to find an answer to satisfy the mandate and keep our staff safe and provide services all at the same time. So.
Would there be an electronic way to unlock the door, or would that be a person going to the door to open it?
No, we'd have to go and just quickly open it for them. I honestly don't even know if it'll work. We haven't tried it yet. People were pretty adamant about just going to curbside only though, and having people look on the computer and browsing for books and putting things on hold through the OPAC, the computers. So
Patrons were adamant about that?
My staff.
Staff, okay.
Yeah, I have pretty much everybody is on board with that.
Oh, so they don't want to still maintain services that you're serving?
They don't want to close down. They want to maintain services.
But they want to do curbside only.
They don't want to do curbside only. They want to allow patrons in the building to access computers and materials.
I would go with whatever my staff is comfortable with. And matches the mandate. It has to, like you said, you got to follow the law. I mean, if your staff, they're the ones doing it. They're the ones that are going to have to do that. Did they have input on what they ideas to limit the number of patrons in the building at once?
We did. we had a staff meeting and they gave me feedback there. And then I made some phone calls to other staff members that I didn't hear from during the meeting to get their feedback. And pretty much there's a consensus that they want to continue to have people allowed to come in the building. Yes, we need to limit that. We don't want to be overrun, but I guess the biggest fear is, okay, the schools are going to be closing for virtual learning. So are they going to come to the library? We probably need to have they need to maybe reserve spots so we can control that a little bit. And maybe lock the door and have a doorbell.
Did they give you a number of the people that they think maximum could be in the building at one time with the reduced staff?
I do not have a specific number. From the governor, all they said is if you can close.
No, I mean your staff, when they gave you feedback, did they have any idea what they felt comfortable with, the number of people being in the building?
Oh, for staff members, it's 33%. So for us, it would be three at a time.
Okay, but did they give you an idea of how many customers that they would be comfortable with handling at a time?
No, because they're assuming that we're going to follow mandate and close. So we've not received any guidance for that.
There's only going to be 3 staff members. Maybe you need to base the amount of people that know what they can handle too.
That's what I was thinking. It would be, what can we do to spread people out? And also, any more than 3 people on a public access computer is going to be too much for 2 front desk staff members to handle with copying, printing, and computer help with a 3rd person in the back. That provides a 1-to-1 on computers. So I would recommend we work in 2 teams of 5. 3 of those people on that team will be required to be in the building that day. The other 2 people will be working from home and on call, and will be coming in as needed if there's a staff member sick, and also to do necessary things like programming, recording, things that they can't do outside of the library. So the most that we'd ever have is 5, but they've been instructed to go to different parts of the library. Like if you've got to record something, grab a laptop and go to an activity room or study room or something, so that we don't have as many people back in that staff area.
So I haven't heard an answer, I don't think, to Pam's question. So how many people do you think 3 people in the library can handle customer-wise? Like, are you going to think 10 is too many, or can they handle 10 at a time inside? Or do we know?
I would need to talk to my staff about that, what they would feel, but no more than 3 on the computer for sure. And then I would say 7 to 10 maybe in browsing and getting copies and things like that.
Yeah, I think a cap of 10 at least, or less.
Which would be consistent with what, I mean, it's better than what they're allowing in the movie theaters.
Yeah.
So.
Right. If the staff feels comfortable that they could handle 10 people being in there, of course, not all of them on the computers, but 10 people doing whatever they do when they come into the library. If the staff feels like they could handle that, that seems like a reasonable number to me.
Okay. Just from what I am observing and seeing what our traffic flow is, I think that would be a fair number. And we could, I guess, if we had to, we would just reduce it, as needed with different situations. Right. If we had staff issues or whatever, we could only do what we can do. So.
Okay. My husband is yelling at me in the background because he's got the news on. So Are we positive that we can be open? That he's thinking that they're saying that churches and everything are supposed to be closing down again. So are we okay as long as we're at 33% capacity with our staff? And
so from the email that I read, it is mandated that we have to be at 33% capacity. We should close, but are not, it's not going to be,
It's not against the law to stay open.
It
as
isn't mandated.
as of that, what people are going, a lot of libraries are going to the curbside model, but they are also allowing people on a limited basis coming in to do faxes, notaries, all of those essential things, you know, working on a computer, because that's what we have noticed, that is the most services that are most needed.
I agree. I mean, we live in such a small community that those things are needed and you can't get it anywhere else. So if we just let people in, you know, on a limited basis with things that are, you know, emergent to them, and also the fact that the kids are not going to school and they need a computer and they can't have it at home, or they don't have internet at home, as long as it's okay that you think that we're open to let them in, I'm good with it.
Okay. Pam, are you okay with that then?
Yes, I am. I mean, you know, we want to naturally protect the staff as much as we can. And if the staff were adamant that the doors be closed, then that would be an altogether different scenario. But if they're comfortable with no more than 10 people being in there, or and they think they can handle it, then I would say to do that. But otherwise, you know, if we have to close like we did before, then that's what we have to do.
And definitely mask.
We are.
Well, yes,
They have to have a
absolutely.
mask to come in.
Doug, how are you with everything?
I'm in favor of, as it's been outlined, that we maintain service as much as possible, along with staff willingness. And
Are you okay? Would you prefer that we not lock the front door, or are you okay with keeping it?
no, that's fine.
You okay to lock it so we can control the traffic flow?
Yeah, I
That's
think
fine
that
with
would be
me.
necessary.
Okay, Keith, how are you
Makes
with
sense.
everything?
I agree with everything that's been said. I'm fine with it.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and move forward with that. I don't know that we need to make a motion on it. No, do we need to make a motion on that, something like that?
I don't think so, Dina, because didn't we give you authority to kind of do what you needed to do last time? Did we
Yeah,
not do that?
Yeah, I did, and I came out pretty hard line with my staff meeting today, and was just following guidelines that we were told, and I got, you know, got a lot of input and feedback, and saying this is not what our county needs right now, and I appreciate that feedback and willing to listen to that. So,
Are we okay with how you're gonna pay, how we're gonna pay them?
yes, because our full-time staff are going to be expected to still try to get in their 40 hours.
Okay.
That being said, we know that they're not going to be able to put a full 40 hours in at home. I would say they're probably going to get 5 or 6 hours a day in, but that's why I'm also requiring them, if they are on that team, that they are on call as well. So they are monitoring their emails, their phone, so that they're a support staff. So in our policies already, we already pay on call for on-call time.
Okay.
So I feel comfortable in saying that, you know, they're putting in their full 8 hours a day. If
And
you guys
everybody's gonna get paid like they are expecting to get paid is what I
Yeah.
was worried about.
Yeah, our part-time staff, their schedule won't change at all. We're going Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then the next week it's Tuesday, Thursday. So those teams
Okay.
will always be together. So their hours won't be reduced. Full-time staff hours won't be reduced. So, and I'm confident in our staff. I don't think that they're going to take advantage of this. And they didn't in the spring, and I don't feel that they'll take advantage of it now either. That's just not who they are. So. All right. We do have there's a new federal law. It's called Setting Every Community Up for Retirement Enhancement Act. And it requires us to notify our part-time staff employees who have been there for 3 years or more that they are allowed to participate in Kentucky Deferred. We already participate in Kentucky, the Kentucky Deferred program. It doesn't require the library to put in any money at all. It's just a volunteer, staff contributions and things like that. So I will make sure that employees are informed of that at the end of December, and they know that they can start contributing. So I don't think that we need to make a policy for that either. What's that?
How many part-time employees do we have here that have been here for longer than 3 years? Several, aren't there?
I think maybe one right now. And honestly, I'm okay with them. It doesn't cost us anything. I'm okay with them contributing now, but I don't know if Kentucky Deferred would allow that. So I'll reach out to them and see if there's any time restrictions on that on their part. But it's law that after 3 years they have to.
Oh, okay. So
given that.
We can do it before 3 years. You just by law have to tell them about it before their 30.
Yes, and I'm going to see if they can start investing before that, because I think it would be a great program if they can.
Yep.
So we've had a few plumbing issues this month. We did have a toilet that was fixed. And then Hawkins Plumbing also performed our biannual inspection. They came out and inspected the tank and everything. They did find some hardware that needed to be replaced, which was really expensive, crazy expensive. It was about $500. It was a sticker shock there. They cleaned out the tank. They did find needles in the tank again. And then several weeks later, they came back to put the hardware on, and they found more needles in the tank. So they they're basically saying, hey, this is hard on your system. What can you do? And I said, we already have a needle container in each bathroom. We already have signage posted. Please don't put it down the toilet. And we're still getting that. So I have no idea how to prevent that from continuing to happen.
Do they use the needle drop off at all? I mean,
Some do, yeah.
That's empty. There are some in there.
Yes. Yep.
You're talking about the commode tank, or is that what you're talking about? There's
Yep.
needles in that.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yep. So I'm going to do some research. I don't know what we can do as far as putting more strong language up on posters, or I really don't want to get to the point where we block the bathrooms and monitor everybody who goes in there. Don't want to do that either, but see if I can come up with some strategies to help with that.
Do other libraries have this problem as well?
Yeah, but they don't have they don't have pump systems like we do. So they have different systems, so it doesn't affect them as badly.
So are you saying that do you think they're flushing the needles, or are they taking the lid off the top of the tank and putting it in there?
No, they're flushing the needles. It's going down into our pump station.
Oh, that tank.
That tank.
Okay.
So, yeah. Well, we have signs in there for, hey, if you need help, this is a number to call. We have encouraging things in there, and we have, please don't do this. So just wanting to let you know, but they're inspecting the tank twice a year now. So hopefully that will help a little bit, keep our system up to par. So I reached out to Sack Labens to see about cleaning up the back part of the fence line and cutting back some trees and bushes. Our reading garden is overgrown as well, and he said it would be roughly $1,500 to do that. I felt like it was a little bit high. If you want me to I do think Russell Crawford does this kind of work too. I could reach out to him for a quote. I'm kind of torn now because I know Sack Laban, Andy, I think he's had a really rough couple months with his father, so I know that he hasn't been able to work a lot. So I'll do whatever you want me to do. If you want me to get another quote, I can, or we can go ahead with these services.
That's to clean up the fence row and the learning garden.
And yep,
And it was $1,500.
I think it was last time to do it. It was about $1,000 to do the front part of the fence line. He's going to the back now and cutting overgrown trees over our fence.
And is that removing it all too?
Yes,
Because he's going to have to cut some trees off or down or something, it sounds like.
just branches.
I don't know on that one. Somebody else is going to have to speak.
I say we get another quote and then use your best judgment if you feel like the Zach Laban will still do the better job.
Okay, can you
But
guys?
at least we've got another quote.
Okay, can you approve me up to $1,500? Because my spending limit's on 15, and then I could make a decision without having to come back to a board meeting.
Make a motion to approve Dina to make a decision up to $1,500 or up to 15, or do you need 2?
Up to 15, yeah, whatever. I think up to $1,500.
$1,500.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Wait a minute. I'm cutting in and out. I'm not hearing everything.
Sorry.
So we're gonna,
Made a motion to raise Dina's limit up to 1,500 for this situation, and Michelle seconded.
okay.
Okay, you catch up, Pam?
Yeah, I think I've got it.
Okay, on the meetings, the notes that I sent you guys, I had requested a building closure for staff training. And I think we're gonna postpone that because of COVID. And I don't wanna put 10 staff members in a meeting room all at the same time. And working on mannequins and CPR. I think that's a bad idea. So for technology, our hot spots, they're all checked out, and we have a waiting list right now. With the school being down and everything, we're having more and more people request them. So it's taken a little bit to get them checked out to that point, but they're being used, and I feel better about that. I wrote a grant. It's administered by KDLA, but the funding comes from LSTA, which is a federal organization. The grant would provide 2 years of internet services for 5 hotspots, and we would receive 5 laptops. They would require us to circulate those laptops outside the building. And so all of those laptops would require to have software to a filtering software to scrub the computer clean if everything was saved on it. And there's another one, a GPS locator software on it. So, but the grant would cover all of that software and expenditures. So it roughly would bring in about $10,000 in technology and services. They're giving 26 of these grants out to Kentucky libraries. So hopeful that we're selected as one of them. And we should hear something by the end of the month about that. Again, those laptops would be used much like our hotspots, that they would have to be used for education, workforce development, things like that. Julianne has been doing some pretty cool things. We purchased some STEM equipment, a 3D printer and drones and robotics. And we've checked those out to Brent Taylor, who's a teacher at the high school, and he's working on those with his class, and hoping to get some pictures back from him on things that the kids are doing and working on. So programming is still going pretty strong. Something we are looking forward to starting in January is we're going to offer tax preparation assistance to patrons. We're partnering with the IRS, and they've got a VITA program that will give us access to software, tax preparation software, and training and services that we can offer our patrons. And we'll have Hunter Consley and I will also be trained on that. We will not be completing tax forms. We didn't want the liability of that. We will simply be there to ask questions, to answer questions, and to assist. So we'll be offering those Monday through Thursday, 10 to 4, starting whenever we can get the program up and going. It'll be January 1st, probably through October 14th. So, our Smithsonian Crossroads exhibit was packed up and sent on a semi back to another library or another place on Tuesday, and I think it went pretty well considering everything that's going on. We had probably around 300 people visit the exhibit, and that's just an estimate. We took a percentage of our door count. We figured that's, probably 30 to 40% of the people who came to the library stopped in the exhibit. So, and Sarah did a really great job putting together programming for that, and she curated a art show, and there's some photography from local artists and some other local artifacts. So I think that brought quite a few people in, and people were excited to see that kind of thing. Jackie's been busy. She's helping out a lot with the community Thanksgiving dinner this year. They've decided that is all curbside delivery. The committee was able to generate about $1,500 through donations from the community. They're purchasing food from the school, and the school staff is going to prepare it, and then that food will be delivered or delivered to cars at the county park on this Sunday. I think it's 3 to 5 is the time for that. So that's been a lot of work, and she's done a great job with that. I appreciate her taking on more responsibility with that. We're going to try to participate in Light Up Bedford with the parade that's going on. We're still not sure if that's going to happen or not. Todd Pollock is in charge of that, so the library will have their library card and possibly a float. So let's see. We're also, as a staff, we're also participating in the Christmas Angel Tree program at the school again this year. So does anybody have any feedback or questions about programming?
Is the art or the photography work that was local, is all that still hanging up?
Yeah, we were going to try to keep it up through December. I don't know if Sarah needs to contact all the artists and see if that's okay. If we're going to be closed down, I'm hoping that they'll let us keep it maybe through the end of January, so that will be available. So we have a pretty talented county, a lot of people, very talented in our county. So it's pretty amazing the work that they do. All right, so this next couple of months, the staff will be reviewing the strategic plan and going over goals for this next year, which I'm going to just put it out there. I don't know. I'm having a hard time envisioning this next year at all. But I think one thing that is clear is that programming is not going to go back to normal this next year. We're still going to have to distance and do things outdoor. So we floated a few ideas around staff members about perhaps putting in a fenced playground in the back of the building with a picnic table area. I don't think that the church is going to sell any land to us anytime soon. I don't think that's an option right now. It's not on their radar at all. We've also talked about maybe covering the back grass area right next to the children's library, and to create just some cover, some shade and some cover if it starts raining. you could still continue to have a program out there. So those are just some ideas. And I wanted to see what you guys kind of thought about that. Because getting quotes together and things like that, it's very time consuming. And I don't want to start that work if you guys are like, yeah, this is a bad idea. So.
How large of a covered area would that be out there?
To cover all of the grass, I haven't taken measurements yet, but the grass area it's rectangular. It's probably about 15 feet by, gosh, maybe 50 feet. I'm just guessing though.
So all of it would be, the intent would all of it be covered? Some
Mhm.
kind of pavilion or canopy of some type?
Yep. Or I could even talk to somebody who does this kind of thing, and they might have some ideas on how to create a space that's a little bit more protected, but it's outdoors where you get the airflow and the.
Right. I would be in favor of that.
I know the county just got a check from LG&E, yay, to put up a new playground equipment at the park.
Right.
That was good news.
I don't think you can go wrong with an outdoor kids area. Even if this wasn't going on, I would still think it was a good idea. I think kids like to be outside, and I think it's a good idea.
Pam, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I think it sounds okay. Yeah.
Michelle?
I think it's great.
Okay, Keith, how are you? Where are you at?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. All right, well, I'll move forward. It's not going to happen it's not going to be a quick project. It'll take some time, but I'll try to gather some more information about costs and what we can look at. Okay. My evaluation is coming up.
It would remain grass covered, or would there be concrete or tarmac or something added, or would it remain grass to be mowed?
We would look at that. I think I would prefer to get it something that doesn't have to be maintained. But
playground mat stuff is amazing. And
the what?
That rubber playground mat stuff, and it stays looking really nice for a really long time. And it also kind of takes off the liability of kids falling and breaking things on concrete.
Right. I'm in agreement there. So I'll generate some ideas and get some different quotes and feedback, and it might take me longer than it might be January, February before I can get that done, especially through the holidays, but I will work on that.
Can I throw something out there?
What's that, Hannah?
Can I throw something out there?
Yeah.
Just a thought. I don't know, you know your staff, I don't, but it sounds like you kind of have a really full plate right now and a lot going on in personal life. And it sounds like they might have some downtime coming. You know, you were afraid your full-time staff might have a hard time getting, their full 40 hours in, or have a hard time, considering we don't have a lot of programming going on and all that. I mean, is this something, getting quotes and estimates and researching these kind of things, is this something that they could help to fill their time where they're going to have some downtime with what's going on, or even staff training sessions on Zoom or so? I'm trying to think of things that we put off because we're so busy with programming and everything, and that could maybe be done now by online, or even delegating some of the things because you've got a plate full right now.
Right.
I don't know if estimates are something that, some employees who are looking for hours could help with, just to help you.
Yeah, that's a good help a lot. I think what we're going to do with our strategic planning is we're going to do some brainstorm sessions too. And looking at different types of playground equipment and things like that. What kinds of play areas do we want to create that would benefit, that would be different, but would be, useful and draw people to the library?
Got a lot going on.
Yeah,
And I know your staff would love the, I don't know, I think it's a thing to look into.
yeah,
They'd be good at it.
I'll try to include them more in that. How's that?
Delegate more.
You know what? I am getting good, girl. I'm getting a lot better.
Taking care of yourself. I was just
Yeah. This last week I did take some time off, so I had to. So, but yeah, I also might delegate the tax preparation part of that to somebody else too. I need some time to talk about, to full-time staff who would be a good fit for that, because a lot of our younger staff, desk workers would not. That would be something that they probably wouldn't be comfortable with. But I'll try to delegate a little bit more. But okay, so statistics are, I think we're doing okay considering. So our visits for the month of 2020, we had about almost 1,900. From last month, that is up, so that's good. Still, if you look at 2019, we're still about 50% of what we usually have. Circulation of items, those look great, and we've already talked about this before. They're great because we're renewing items more frequently than last year. So those numbers are going to be skewed, but we're about half of our circulation numbers from last year. So our wireless use sessions we're getting some more use out of those. Had over 1,000 in October. People come in and use our wireless services. That's great. Like to see that. Our computer use is, you can see, is tanked. We had 134 sessions in October. Last year at the same time, we had 392. So that's down a lot as well. But like I said, people are coming in to do essential services and things. They're not coming in to play video games. So the Milton branch is also doing pretty well. Our wireless sessions climbed to 174 last month. So we've seen increase there. Computer sessions are holding steady. Definitely word has caught on, and people are using the service as compared to last year at this time. And our overdrive checkouts are holding steady, and our Hoopla use has dropped a little bit, but I think that's probably because people went back to school and such. So, but we're doing pretty good. Does anybody have any questions or concerns about circulation or any of the stats we went over? Okay, I forgot to ask you. So my evaluations is coming up in December. Do you want me to go ahead and survey the staff again like we have been? Do you want me to create that, or would you like to add different questions? And what kind of format do you want me to use? You want me to use the same format as we did last year for the evaluation part of it?
I thought last year's format was helpful, so I would be for using the same one.
Okay.
I would agree with that.
So would I.
Me too.
Do you want me to survey the staff again? Do you want me to just assume that that's a given? You guys want that feedback from them? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, in the next couple of weeks, if you guys have any specific questions you want to ask the staff, if you would email me any of those, I can put them on the survey.
Yeah, I would.
Okay. All right. I'll be looking for those questions that you want on the staff survey. And I can put that together, and it could be done anonymously. And I'll have Betsy collect the answers. And all right. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? We miss anything?
I think under the current circumstances, with all the craziness of this whole year, I think you and the staff have been doing a good job.
I
Excellent.
appreciate that.
I agree.
I know they work hard and they're just really committed to their work and really get along and work well together. So I appreciate them. They were very appreciative of the raises. So thank you so much for that. That always helps too. So, all right.
I think in light of this increase in COVID cases, we need to encourage everybody to maintain their due diligence and protect themselves and others. I told somebody today there are only 3 places I go in Bedford. One's the gas station, one's the hardware store, and one's the Dollar General. And I see at least 50% of the people in those places not wearing a mask. So people are not concerned about this. And that's unfortunate. One individual that I talked to said, I don't know what you're worried about. If this is a problem for you, for me not to wear a mask, you need to stay home.
Ouch.
I said, okie dokie.
Yeah, it's been a tough situation.
I did just like everything else in the country is.
That's exactly right.
Our staff are reminded all the time to wear a mask, and I try to set that example to wear my mask when I'm out of my office. And so Betsy is pretty good about keeping an eye on our front desk staff and making sure that things are getting cleaned. We're still quarantining items. That still is continuing. So, but.
Yeah, I've heard so much about, the numbers just don't match up, all the statistics around the country and around the world. But on the other hand, it is real. My own brother-in-law is in a hospital in Michigan, COVID, and they took him in by ambulance day before yesterday. And they announced today that his lungs are full of blood clots. So he's in pretty serious condition.
No.
And and then the last 3 weeks, I've personally have lost 3 or 4 friends that I've known since college, all from COVID. And it's tough.
I'm sorry to hear that, Doug. It is painful. So I would personally, our lives have been touched by it. So, and it is worrisome and stressful. And my family won't be spending Thanksgiving together because me and my kids will be quarantined. So, I guess it just makes you so grateful though for what you do have and your kid, your family and the people that you love. And I hope that people don't have to go through the same thing that my family is going through. But I just keep telling my staff, we got to be tolerant, we got to be patient with people. And even within my staff, we have a different level of comfort of, being around the virus and people with it and mask wearing. And we're just going to be respectful and do the best that we can. So it's tough. So I sure do appreciate you guys. I know this has been tough doing meetings online as well, but I think that we should probably just continue Zoom meetings until further notice. So.
I agree.
All right. Okay, guys. Hannah, do you have anything else?
Nope. I'll make a motion to adjourn at 6:24.
A second. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Who seconded?
Thank you.
Michelle.
Michelle. Okay. Thanks so much, you guys. Happy Thanksgiving.